one of my favorite journalists at one of my favorite papers, the Epoch Times, Josh Phillips, a guy that does amazing work on a paper, does amazing work. Okay, so there, I think it's 10 or 12 Chinese nationals have been, I think, indicted. They're actually in mainland China, so they haven't been arrested. And they're hackers. In one of the institutions they're hacking and doing constant cyber attacks is our beloved Epoch Times. Josh Phillips, unpack that for us. What in the hell's going on?
Well, geez, I mean, we were kind of surprised to find out, too. I mean, at Epoch Times, we get a lot of cyber attacks. We are aware of it. What is interesting with this is, a dozen Chinese nationals have now been indicted by the FBI. About 10 of these, 8 of them are with a private company called iSoon. And apparently this was like a mercenary company that the CCP was hiring. They're hackers for hire, and they would charge the Ministry of Public Security, which is like one of their big spy branches. They would charge them for every email they breached or every cell phone they breached and so on. The Ministry of Public Security, 2 of them were indicted on this. And the Ministry of Public Security, those are the guys who run the secret Chinese police stations. That's the one that does the secret Chinese police stations. And so, this whole case gets unsealed. We find out they were targeting us. And according to the indictment, it says that these Chinese hackers, they breached the cell phones, I believe, or the computers of our former CEO, of our vice president. They were looking for apparently contacts we had with dissidents in China. Because at Epoch Times, of course, we get a lot of whistleblowers stepping forward. We get a lot of inside information. The CCP was apparently trying to find who these people were to, who knows what to them. They were also hacking our website. Apparently, 2016, they launched these denial of service attacks, basically overloading our servers, shutting it down. I remember being there when that happened. Our services were going down. We were like, wow, we're under a massive cyber attack. What's happening? Finally, all these years later, we find out what happened. Turns out we were under attack by the CCP, which we expected at the time as well. But apparently what they did, they were breaching our system, and the Chinese Communist Party wanted the IP addresses of people who are accessing our website from China because they wanted to go and arrest them. Yeah. Read Epoch Times, you'll go to jail, in China, apparently. And that's what they were doing. And so, I mean, this whole thing is pretty shocking to us.
Doesn't it show, by the way, Ministry of State Security is a combination of FBI and CIA. It is literally the hammer. They're the ones that roll guys up in the middle of the night. You never see them again, right? I mean, these people are as tough as you can possibly get, sir, correct?
Yeah, so this is different. There's the Ministry of State Security and there's the Ministry of Public Security. Ministry of State Security, I mean, they're kind of similar, MSS. These guys are Ministry of Public Security, and they kind of do the same thing. I mean, they're almost the same thing. But they do a lot of things that overlap as well. Like Ministry of State Security, those were the guys who were doing when they had Operation Fox Hunt. And they had Chinese Communist Party agents who were hunting down people in the United States and, bringing them back to China, threatening their families, forcing them to commit suicide. That was Ministry of State Security. Ministry of Public Security, very, very similar. Again, another Chinese Communist Party agency. Those are the ones involved with this. Those are the ones running the secret Chinese police stations. When you heard about they're setting up these police networks in the United States, like New York, they had it. I mean, crazy to even think about. They had it in New York, a Chinese police station. That's who these guys are. And they're the ones also targeting Americans, doing things against us right here, right here in our own backyards.
Could you get any better validation of the great reporting? Because Epoch Times, I mean, the paper every day, you got 5 or 6 main stories you can get into, plus you got the features, you got all the investigative reporting you do. Could you guys ever wish to have a better validation of how serious your reporting is on exposing the dictatorial nature of the Chinese Communist Party than have the Chinese Communist Party literally try to get on your servers and find out who's reading it in China so they can go arrest them, sir?
It's I call it the Chinese Pulitzer. So, you're doing something right if you get blacklisted by the Chinese Communist Party. But at the same time, too, we actually found out there's a lot going on. We had whistleblowers come out, and this has been revealed now by The Diplomat, by other reporting. It turns out that Xi Jinping himself, the head of the Chinese Communist Party, gave orders a couple years back to mobilize all of their spies, all of their overseas resources to attack the Epoch Times, Shenyang Performing Arts, and our sister media, NTD. Because according to these whistleblowers, again, verified now, they believe that we can inform, the current government about the threats from China, and they regard us as a national security threat to, like, the survival of the Communist Party. And so they're coming after us, it seems, with everything they have right now.